Hello, I'm Danielle from Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and Gemini, these are your tarot cards for September of 2022. This is a general reading, so I highly suggest that you check out your sun, moon, and rising signs for a more complete picture. The spread that I've created for this month is based on the astrology, so if you'd like to learn more about the card spread I created, go ahead and check out the description. I've linked a PDF for you to go ahead and check it out. If you are interested in some Reiki healing, I do lead 5 times a week live streams where you can request specific healing. We build a crystal grid and you can get Reiki from whenever and wherever you happen to be. You can click the subscribe button or check out the description below for more details. And in the description, you can also learn more about my online Reiki classes, Discord, and Crystal Shop. So with that all out of the way, let's dive right into your reading. So Gemini, summed up for this month, I would really say it's hard work and determination is kind of the focal point. So here we go. And I know that you've been doing a lot of hard work already, and I'm sorry that it continues, but this is the best I can give you. Okay, so starting here, we have the theme. The theme is Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is all about feeling stuck. It's, as you can see, she's in this bubble. She's got all of these swords pointed up at her. But if you'll notice, these swords aren't actually penetrating this bubble that she is in. Swords are mental. They are of the mind. And this is a feeling of anything from blinding fear to very sneaky fear in the back of your mind that might be impacting your decisions, actions, and behavior that you might not quite realize. But yeah, so the theme of this month is definitely working through fears and making good decisions in spite of them. The card that represents the starting point, where you are as the month begins, is the Three of Wands. This definitely talks about all of the hard work you've been putting in so far. This is not just hard work, but it's been very specific work, very detailed work over a long period of time. And it feels like you've been putting out all of this effort and you're waiting for something to kind of come in, like this ship. Like, when is this thing that I've been working for finally going to show up on the shores? So that's kind of where you are right now. The challenge for this month is represented by the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is often called the false knight, and that's for very good reason. Cups is all about emotions, and the knights, generally they're all armed, and in some tarot decks, the Knight of Cups actually doesn't even have a sword. Here he does, but it's just not very prominent. You can tell by the expression on his face, he's not exactly ready for war. The personality behind the Knight of Cups and the message that it brings is that it's really necessary to put more focus on your day-to-day, on what you're doing, not leading yourself into escapism, which can be anything from substances to just distractions to just slacking off, taking it easy, or even getting a little bit burnt out. This is, in the challenge position, very much a caution about not backsliding, finding tools and techniques and the help you need even to continue the work that you've done, because falling back now would not be great for you. The card that comes next is Lessons and Healing. Lessons and Healing is the Seven of Wands. In this card, we have someone who's been come upon by several people in the shadows looking for him and not meaning him well, certainly. Some of the wisdom here is that some of these folks that are coming at him with these batons, he may even recognize them. Like the action that you are staving off might be a little bit closer to home. So how does this pan out into a Lessons in Healing? This is about keeping up the good fight. Everything that you are working on right now that you have worked so hard to create, you're going to have to defend it a little bit harder or a lot bit harder. You're going to have to continue to keep up the pressure, continue to have follow through at this time, even though it feels like you kind of have your back to a wall. know that you do have the upper hand. That's the ultimate magic of Seven of Wands. Yes, people are coming at you from all sides, but you are in control. You are in a leadership position. You've got the upper hand in many ways. So definitely don't lose sight of that. Don't backtrack or kind of slide back into escapism, because you will kind of lose your seat. And then the last card is the only major arcana card that came up for you this month. And it's the position of whispers from your guides. So it's literally just that. Your guides, if they could get a message through to you, what would it be? And here it is, the major arcana. And it is the Devil card. So with the Devil card, I kind of see a very straight line between this Devil card and this Knight of Cups. The Devil isn't about a literal devil. The devil in tarot is that part of us that leans towards things like escapism and self-soothing in negative ways, debauchery, and anything from lower behavior to engaging in substances in an unhealthy way, all of that kind of stuff. This is our lowest self, our lowest version of ourself that's kind of in this cage. And it's a cage of our own making, not some omnipotent force. This is a caution from your guides that if you give into dalliances and flights of fancy and distractionism from the challenges that come up this month, that it's really not going to work out well for you. It's not to say that you're, it's related to the literal understanding of a devil. Quite the opposite. It's that there's part of you that really needs some support. And if you don't get that support, it could lend itself to anything from bad relationships to everything else that might not be in your highest good. So we all know to some extent, what are our lowest desires? Where do we go when we are just out of steam, when we're scared, when we feel like we're running? Those are the things that you will have a propensity to run back to this month. So whatever you can do, use this time to go ahead and find some support. Tell your friends you need some help. Grab anybody that you can and try to keep yourself encouraged with working on what needs to be done. This month does feel like a slog. We do have the Mercury retrograde, which is not a bad thing. It's actually meant as a time to reflect inward. This way we have an opportunity to see what we want to change before we continue on down our path. That's what it's meant for. That's why it's harder to communicate, because we really need to be listening to ourselves rather than everyone else, and everyone else is listening to themselves and not so much to us. So as much as this is an introspective time, definitely a time to see what kinds of things come up for you. What is, back to that first card, that feeling of intense blinding fear. What's feeding this? What's going on? What's causing this? And can it be dealt with in some other way? And how can we support you through standing up for yourself and fighting that fight, where you won't be inclined to just sort of slide back and disconnect in very unhealthy ways from it. So I suggest that you take this time, take this month, and take many breaths for yourself. Reach out to the people who love and care about you. Get all the self-care that you possibly can. And I do hope that the rest of the month turns out as well as possible. I feel like you've got it to take on whatever is coming at that man in the Seven of Swords. And certainly I hope the other two readings that I've done for you are a little bit easier to contend to. It's not anything to fear, and it never truly is. This is something just simply to see it for what it is, very crystal clear, so that you can deal with it and end up in a much better position next month. So all the best to you. I hope I see you again for October, and be well.